Investigation Agency has really pioneered the use of investigative techniques to document and expose some of the world's most pressing environmental problems. And we've used those investigations and that information to campaign for transformations in the global norms and in the global marketplace. Unlike any other organization, EIA investigates environmental crime and the organized criminal networks behind them. And we've been doing it for 25 years, starting with an investigation into the illegal ivory trade in Dubai.
We start with a dramatic story, Africa without elephants. It's unthinkable, but unless we act now, it won't be unthinkable, it will be a fact.
In the beginning at EIA, we knew that the African elephants were being slaughtered en masse. Around 70,000 a year were being killed for their ivory. So we had thought, where could we go to investigate the illegal ivory trade? Because there were dozens of countries in Africa with elephants where poaching was occurring.
The ivory comes from East Africa, Tanzania, Uganda, and Kenya.
But when we looked at it, we saw that no one had really found out what was really going on in Dubai.
From there, it is shipped illegally to Middle East countries like Dubai, where it is laundered.
And we went to Dubai with myself and my co-director Dave CURREY, our cameraman Clive Lonsdale, and we set out to go and do an undercover investigation there. We were trying to figure out how can we film inside that factory, and we thought any kind of direct approach wouldn't work. So we decided to go to all the other units in the factory to see if there was some way we could film from them. The last unit we went to was a double unit, and we went in and I immediately saw that they had shelves stacked about 12 feet high, running right up against the back wall. Now the walls in these units didn't go all the way to the ceiling. They were about 12-foot high concrete blocks, and there was another 10 or 12 feet of space on them. And I thought the only way we'd be able to film would be to get on top of that shelf, but clearly we couldn't stand on top of a 12-foot shelf with cameras looking into a factory. We'd be found out very quickly and probably would be very unwelcome. And I saw an empty packing box and I thought, it looks big enough to put our cameraman and photographer in. So I asked the manager if we could take that box and put it on a wooden pallet and put our cameraman and photographer in it. So they got in the box and put it back on the shelf, and they carved a hole and started filming into the ivory factory, and so they wouldn't be detected.
However, inside, filming from a cardboard box on top of a forklift truck, it was clear a lot of sophisticated ivory carving was going on.
They say a picture tells 1,000 words, so by filming inside this secret ivory factory, pictures of all those carvers, 60 carvers sitting there carving poached ivory to easily circumvent the international regulations that were supposed to protect elephants, showed that this was a useless and ineffective system.
In just 3 years, 1,000 metric tons of ivory were laundered through Dubai. Ivory poached from the illegal slaughter of 100,000 elephants.
And that investigation was really the lighting of the fuse that would eventually explode right before the meeting in 1989 when the ivory ban was passed.
The power of our investigations comes from being able to put all the pieces of the puzzle together to show who is behind these environmental crimes.
The investigations that we do therefore become crucial in finding hard, solid evidence from the ground with footage that in turn drives policy making.
But we don't just get the evidence, we create and conceptualize the strategies that deploy that evidence in the most effective way. And work with the authorities to stop these environmental crimes.
We are facing a perilous time. The environment is threatened by wildlife poaching, by the climate crisis, and by the ongoing illegal timber trade. And we feel an acute responsibility to do everything in our power to protect not only in the environment, but all of the people around the world, ourselves included, that depend on this precious environment for our lives and our livelihood. We've got a lot of work to do, and we're going to give it everything we've got for the next 25 years and more.